There we go. God, I love this song. Go from bad music to good music. Okay. I have to listen to that song every time. I can't help it. Alright. Chapter 1, Into a Dark Night. Hope you guys like the sound of my voice, because there's a lot of reading here. Blood-soaked rags collected at the boy's feet. One by one, he tended the wincing soldier's purple wounds, stitched, salved, bandaged, did what little he could in the leaping golden halo of firelight. Fortunately for his roadside patient, he could do more than most. Fingers slick with alum ointment, he worked fervently to tie off a captured cord, that brushed the injury with a light touch that to the untrained eye would seem only a friendly pat. Others would recognize the telltale hand gesture as a magical ward against infection. Done, Owen sighed, wiping his hand in a rust-colored cloth. No guarantees, though. The stitches may hold all the way to Lamotte, and then again, push too hard, and you could be bleeding like a stuck pig on midsummer's. You did fine, Senior Locklear replied, smiling approval before rolling down his sleeve. It'll scar, but it's good for a noble's reputation. Lets the kingdom folk know he isn't resting on his laurels, and it impresses the ladies. I'll be sure to look you up in Tyburn if ever I need stitching up again. The boy accepted the compliment with a humble nod, while he packaged away the rest of his medical supplies, his thoughts focused instead on a third man who slumped in the shadows across from them. Despite the manacles that bound the stranger's hands and the distance that separated them, the boy felt dreadfully exposed, his avenues of escape limited should Locklear's elven-looking prisoner decide to liberate himself. What did he do? Owen whispered, jerking his head towards the man. Gorath? Let's just say he had the disadvantage of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, Locklear said cautiously. He snatched a greenish apple out of his knapsack, offering one to Owen. I have to take him to Krondor. Did he kill someone? Owen asked. No. He attacked you. The senior wiped apple juice from his mouth, shook his head. No, not exactly. Well, who cut you up then? Before Locklear could reply. Gorath leapt forward, his chains writhing between his wrists like metallic vipers. Get out from underfoot, Owen. Assassin in the camp. Do not struggle so, Haseth. I wish to keep you alive. But be glad I do not. The goddess of death will show you greater mercy. Alright, here we are. Man, I have not played this game in a long time. So, we can search the corpse of the assassin here. Owen looked for supplies. Feeling a bit like a vulture, he turned the body this way and that as he searched for anything that might be of use to him. Oh! Shadow is now following. Thanks for the follow, Shadow. All in all, he supposed that if he were the dead man, it wouldn't matter to him any longer what happened to his belongings. Look like bad cosplay. Yeah, pretty much. Alright. Share the food. You can take the lockpicks. Okay, so if I remember correctly, normally I do a little research before I stream. I didn't think the Ravenloft would end so quickly. Bonjour from France. Bonjour yourself. So, you tag the skills you want them to focus on. So we definitely want him to get his melee up. Armor craft and weapon craft, I guess, and lockpicking. You casting. Where's barding? What year is this game? 93? Yeah, that sounds about right. There we go. 93 was a good year. Yep. Okay. So, So, Betrayal Krondor, as we've just begun, it's a first-person RPG, but you travel a huge world. Where this little speck here, each one of these dots here is a different town that you can visit. The white dots are like bigger cities. And currently we're trying to get to Krondor with our prisoner all the way down here, so it's a really big game, really long game too. So hopefully, guys, you guys like it, because this is we're gonna be playing this for a good while here. The ashes were cold. Wiping the grime off his hands, Locklear shook his head. Someone or something obviously set up camp here, but it's hard to say just when. Pretty sure we set up camp here, but you know. Treasure chest. Locklear gritted his teeth. While they had agreed the box should be opened, he was privately concerned the previous user might have left behind an unpleasant surprise. Money. Is that a corpse? Where? There was the corpse of the assassin that we killed in the cutscene. This right here is a corpse. But we searched that already. Alright, so one of the interesting things about this game, anytime you walk onto a road, you see this icon lights up, you can click it, and your characters will lock onto the road, and then you can just hold forward, and they'll just run and follow the path. Just pretty handy for quickly moving around. Alright, Gorath seemed distant. Though the Moradel warrior didn't appear grieved about killing the assassin that had followed them from the Northlands, his eyes had a baleful look in them that seemed something between hatred and rage. Several times he glanced back at the corpse that lay between them in the dust, his thoughts unguessable from his expression. Do you wish to bury him? We could do that. It is not our way. I simply am somewhat disturbed that he should come after me. He was a kinsman. There are other things that trouble me as well. Delican's assistants are slow, but not altogether stupid. Another like Hayseth, and you'll only have my corpse to drag before your Prince Arutha. Sorry, you don't get off that easy. As long as you're under my command, you are forbidden to die, Moradel. I've gone to far too much trouble keeping you alive to bury you now. It's time that we took the chains off you. It'll be far easier for you to defend yourself if your hands are free to swing a sword again. You're not just going to set him free, are you? I thought you said he was your prisoner. He is my prisoner, Owen, but the circumstances are terribly complicated. Even if he chose to sneak off, he'd be lucky to make it to the next town alive. This is the third such assassin we've run into since we left the Northlands. I have a feeling that more will be waiting for us. He'll be much safer with me, and I with him. As the boy would be, if he were to whisper the wrong word in the wrong ear, he could easily be the death of us. Me? Who am I going to talk to? I'm not even heading in the same direction. It wouldn't be a matter of who you talk to, Owen. There will be ears listening for word of a Moradel traveling with a noble. Damnation, I should have thought about this when you entered camp. For the time being, you're my squire. Once we arrive safely at the palace, you'll be free to go your own way. But I have pressing business in Tyburn. This is not a subject to debate. We must get to Krondor. My mission is of critical importance, and I don't have time to improvise an easy solution. The only other possible option would be to slit your throat and leave you dying. I have absolutely no desire to do that. Now let's get moving before Delican's assassins catch our scent again. They'll likely come looking when Hayseth doesn't return from his mission. And thus our unlikely party is off. So we need to be going south. But yes, I just have to hold forward and we'll just follow the road, which is cool. But you want to keep your eyes open because there's stuff to find. Now anybody who's played this knows what this is. These are puzzle chests. Rough in its construction and banded with iron, the Moradel box would be impossible to open without solving its word lock. And judging by the marks on the face of the chest, others had learned that lesson after much difficulty. No music when you're just walking around. Gorath scanned the runes embossed on the Moradel clue plate, its text their only hope of opening the difficult word lock. So when you find these chests, you have to solve the riddle and punch the answer in here and it'll unlock the chest. So, Prince Arutha from his lofty perch will find our troops without a search. His men will fall, his castle too, and then what will Prince Arutha do? He will die. That's an easy one. The chest thumped. Satisfied the magical locks had released, Owen tipped open the large wooden lid. Armor and a sword. That armor's way better than what we have. That's the condition of your equipment. They wear down over time, so. But you can get things to fix them up. 78%. Swords Wars, but we'll keep it for now. Alright.
Hold there!
Oh. Loot is not random, it's all fixed. Someone was calling. Recognizing the lilt of the young voice, Owen turned and looked back down the road. A young squire that had met at a party in Yabon was trudging behind them, a pack full of scrolls slung over his shoulder. The squire waved congenially, and Owen echoed the motion. What do you think you're doing? We're trying to remain unnoticed. Damn, Locklear muttered under his breath. Try to behave as normally as possible. Since you know him, you handle him, Owen. And remember, Gorath's name is Thorgath, Owen finished, irritated. I'm not a child, you know. Locklear whispered, that remains to be seen. I didn't expect to see you again quite so soon. I would have thought you all the way to Lamut, but now. Would have been if the Duchess hadn't insisted in introducing me to all of her daughters. Amelia was the prettiest, I believe, though I think Catherine took quite a liking to you. Catherine took quite a liking to everyone at the party. She's as fickle as her mother. She'll likely marry a conduit if she can find one not tied in the marital knot. True enough. Say, I thought you said you were from Tyburn. Why are you taking this road home? Kind of a long way around, isn't it? Well, yes, but I had to meet up with my uncle, Locklear here, and my other friend here is an elf, Thorgath. They decided that it would be nice for me to take the tour with them down to Hawks Hollow. Down to Hawks Hollow. I hear it's lovely at this time of year. What are you up to? I'm looking to cash in a reward, actually. When I was on my way up to Yabon last month, I found a chest in this area, but I couldn't pick the lock on the thing. I figured it wasn't meant to be, and I left off. Thing is, all through the Duchess's party, I couldn't help but think about it. I had chest on the brain. I don't really care what's in it, but I have to pick that lock. What's nearest town? I'm afraid my senses of direction and distance are a bit off right now. We all had a bit to drink last night, and we're still trying to shake off the effects. Which way is the nearest place we could get cleaned up? It must have been quite a bender if you're that confused. Head straight south along the main road, and that will take you on into Lamut. If you're looking for good food, the Blue Wheel is a solid wager, though I warn you their Serrani food can be a bit spicy. Inns. I, for one, could do with a little less sleeping on the ground. Any good inns that you recommend? There's the Blue Wheel Inn in Lamut, or you might try the Dusty Dwarf in Hawks Hollow. Suppose if you got really desperate, you could try breaking into one of the abandoned houses out in that part of the country, but I can't sleep well in a house that may fall on top of me. Of course, it may well be that the people have moved out for good reasons. I've heard that several people south of L'Oreal have moved out after contagion began spreading near there. Empty houses. Was anything left behind in any of the abandoned houses you saw? Nothing of real value. Bits of food in a few cupboards, an occasional gold piece kicked beneath the foundation of the house. Lost items mainly. The majority of the places I visited had those unpickable locks. What are they called? Wyber locks. Yes, they had the Wyber locks installed, so I wasn't able to get inside. Lost items. I'm not certain, but I think I may have mislaid a very valuable belonging of mine. I shouldn't worry about it. Depending on where you lost it, the chances are good it will still be there. Goodbye. Okay. What's this? Something had been buried under the dirt. The hole's not big enough to put a man in, so it's safe to assume that it isn't a grave, Locklear said. Might be a secret cache of food or supplies. Let's take a look. Some rations. Adventuring. Uncorking the mouth of the oilskin, Locklear poured out a small portion of the gold-flecked lacquer onto it. Oh, I can't read anymore. Lacquer into his palm and examined it. Named after a type of impure brown glass common in Rillanon, it was an ideal resin to use on crossbow strings when they began to lose their cohesiveness. Repair stuff for crossbows. Of course, we don't have a crossbow yet. Lamut. Sure, let's head to town. The path turned. Locklear studied the road before them, saw it slithered into the distance like a giant snake before descending eventually into a large town. Lamut, Gorath said. Do you think we should go in for supplies? Sure. In many ways, the town looked like something created on an alcoholic binge. Rude dwarven shacks smashed up against delicate elven shops, while weird Serrani taverns grew from oppressive kingdom-style dwellings. A sign outside the city gate had summed it up well. All who visit Lamut are equal, for in Lamut all is equally queer. There's the inn. Giant beard entity, thank you so much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. I love the music in this game. Alright, so we can try playing playing the lute with Owen to earn music, but he's terrible at this point, so this should be kind of funny. Yeah, get down, Owen. Yeah. Owen struggled with the lute. As soon as he had begun to play, he felt he was not so much playing a song as he was wrestling a beast 100 times his size. Numerous times the song eluded him, slipped out of his reach only to fall into an obscure pit of noise. Out, 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 the tavern keeper urged, yanking the lute from Owen's hands. Be glad this crowd isn't in a worse mood. Give them time to calm down, and then you can come back. But only if you're coming back for food. Oh. So yeah, the towns in this game are all static pictures like this, and you can interact with various things. And when you find a magnifying glass, there's usually like a secret item or something. Like 8 silver coins. Shop. What's this? Garrison. The garrison was impressive. Sitting high on a hill overlooking Lamut, the military outpost had been constructed years earlier to head off a possible Moradel assault on the western border of the kingdom. They followed a road that snaked through town and up the rocky hill upon which the garrison sat. After speaking with the sentries at the gate, they were led under the fortress's massive iron portcullis. Captain Belford stood as they entered the room. "It's good to see you once again, Locklear," he said, extending his hand. "I share that sentiment. What news have you? How is Earl Kasumi?" Locklear asked as the men shook hands. They sat in hard wooden chairs as Belford replied. "He's well, but he's off taking care of some business with a few new guards come through the rift from Kelowan. As for the rest of us, we're looking for a group of grey warriors from Kelowan who slipped through the rift just before it closed." Locklear looked a little puzzled. King Liam and Emperor Echidnar granted the grey warriors freedom and new status in the kingdom. "Yes, but the agreement doesn't allow for the nationalization of stolen goods. Seems they may have absconded with a valuable ruby from Makala's entourage," said Belford. "Makala, the Sarani Great One?" Owen asked. Belford smiled. "Yes, he has been talking to Prince Arutha about establishing a permanent rift to encourage trade between the kingdom and Kelowan. He's really throwing his weight around trying to get his ruby back. If you should happen to come across it, bring it back here. He's offering a reward." They thanked him for his information and left. "Hey, Daredevil, how you doing?" So I guess some background story might be in order if you guys aren't familiar with the books. This game seems to assume you're familiar with the books. But this world is connected to another world by a big portal. It's very Warcrafty. And then on the other side of the portal is the race of dark elves who are like noble warriors, just like the orcs in Warcraft again. And this side is the human kingdom. And they had a war. They settled the war. Now they're at peace. And that's what they're talking about with the portal and Kelowan and all that stuff. So just a quick summary. What's in the shop? The Fletcher's post had been constructed with elven sensibilities, within and without. Little, if anything, had been used in a matter that could be called scurrilous? Never heard that word. Scurrilous, and certainly nothing was merely decorative. Along the walls, the shop's array of arrows and other archery goods were finely displayed, and each thing seemed precisely in place. Buy and sell or repair. 13 gold, 2 silver. For reference, we have 28 silver, no gold, and 5, not sure what R is, whatever the equivalent of copper would be. 330 gold. Oh my good God. 797 gold. 13 gold for arrows. Yeah, we're mad broke. Can we use your repair table? The shopkeeper whistled. Cringing at the sound, Locklear glanced up to see what bargain the keeper wished to call their attention to, but instead it seemed the man was calling to someone else. "Didn't mean to startle you," the man said, "just trying to find if my mender is still about today." "You have a tinker in your employ?" Locklear asked. "Sometimes, when he chooses to show up," the shopkeeper said amiably. "He repairs crossbows. You'd think his work was brand new. Would you like to speak to him?" "No." "Okay, so we can't use his repair thing. It's just pay money. Just a poor scrub, I know." Go back to the inn and talk to the people here. "Who are you?" The man scowled. Apparently far more intent on something going on across the common room, he seemed uninterested in Locklear's repeated attempts to chat. At last he glanced up and gave an exasperated sigh. "What exactly do you want?" "Just a little friendly talk," Locklear said with a companionable smile. "News, gossip, a song perhaps?" "Well, go and find a bloody jongleur, then leave me be. I've got better things to do than entertain every jackaboot that comes through that door." How about you? Barmaid. Could buy food, ale. 9 gold. 4 gold for 7 rations. Frickin' good God. Let's talk to this guy.
Ah, what is it now?
The dwarf drew on his pipe. Languid smoke plumed from the old codger's mouth as he studied Locklear, Owen, and Gorath each in turn. Although he had long ago lost the use of his left eye to a Moradel sword stroke, his right eye still burned brightly beneath his bushy eyebrows. Being as a dwarf never forgets as much as his own name, I can recognize a strapping young man before me who last I saw as a boy. Do you get to choose who in your party talks? No, it's all scripted. No slight intended, but I fear I don't recall the occasion. As like the rest of your human kin, none among you can remember much past a week. If not for we canny dwarves, you would have forgotten that you have a kingdom at all. I fetched you out of a cellar along with a score of womenfolk at the Battle of Sathanon. Don't you remember me, Lockie? Duval, of course. Glad to see you. I hadn't recognized you without the eye patch. What's a dwarf to do? I won this scratch fair and square, and I'll be a dragon's mother before I cover it up again. Shouldn't have done so in the first place. Now I just sit here to jabber with that loon of a Serrani bartender and have me a few beers. Not much to do with the Mac Mordain Cadal all collapsed. Mac Mordain Cadal's a mine, by the way. A Bracknor has been seen down there. They'll be offering a hefty reward for its slaying. I'll might you if tradition holds too. Something of a challenge, as they are fierce beasties even by dwarven standards. I've heard tales of these creatures of stone. Thank you, Dupal. Okay. Bartender? Sumani clapped twice. Abruptly, the festive mood of the room died, the clank of goblets and the scrape of plates falling silent as the bartender shuffled between benches to bow at Locklear's feet. Touching a gnarled fist to his forehead, then to his heart, he spoke somberly.
Honors to your houses.
Be welcome to the Blue Wheel Inn. May you find the drinks to your liking and the company of our patrons pleasurable. If there's anything our servants or I may do, you need only ask Sumani. Ah, honors to your house as well, Sumani. Am I correct in believing this is a drinking establishment? So it is. We serve many of your Midkemian drinks as well as a few from the Serrani Empire as well. Perhaps I might interest you in a cup of choka. Sumani. We talked to the chick, Gascom. She just offers to sell us food. There's no dialogue. Sumani, why did you decide to come to Midkemia and open an inn anyway? Surely you would get better business in Kelwan. I was not always a tavern keeper. As a soldier serving House Shinzawai under Earl Kasumi, I was trapped here when the Rift Gate collapsed at the end of the Rift War. It was our belief that we would never again see our families in Suranwani or the green skies of Kelwan again. But Serrani warriors traditionally kill themselves if they are in danger of falling captive to an enemy. This is true, Lord, but the Earl informed us that we were forbidden to dispatch ourselves until given leave to do so by a great one. I believe in Midkemia you would call such a one a magician. Until such time, I content myself with running the Blue Wheel Inn. Rift Gates. I've heard that the permanent Rift Gate to Kelwan is located near here. I was hoping to get a glimpse of it. There would be little to see at the moment. An internal conflict has arisen in the Empire between House Akuma and House Anasati. The Assembly of Magicians have ordered a temporary interruption of transport between the Empire and the Kingdom of Isles until such time the conflict is resolved. I've been assured the measure is temporary. Combat. You said you were a soldier with the Serrani forces. Would you be interested in teaching us some of your combat techniques? It would be my honor, Lord, but I would require a small fee for my services. If my armor were to be damaged, I would be ill-prepared to otherwise pay for its repair. 75 gold? God damn it. I want the training, though. You're asking a bit more than I had in mind. How much can it cost to repair armor? My armor is Serrani, and more specifically, I would require someone of the House Shinzawa to repair it. It is the way of my world. Armor repair. I don't know how much longer our armor is going to last. Any idea where we could get it repaired? If your armor was the same as mine, I would suggest trying the garrison. But kingdom armor is made in a different way. I would think perhaps the dwarves in the Mac Mordain Cadal would be of assistance. I understand from speaking to Dougal that the small ones are gifted when it comes to the manufacture of weapons and armor. Grey Warriors. We were up at the garrison earlier, and they told us that a group of Grey Warriors stole a pair of rubies. Are the Grey Warriors some kind of special armed force on Kelwan? Special, yes, but not in the way you imagine. The Grey Warriors are men without honor, men whose houses have been destroyed by an opponent house. Such men must live off the land until they die, though I have heard that Mara of the Akoma has accepted many such men into her estate. Others have learned that they may be granted freedom if they can reach the kingdom. Many die trying. Where would such men go once they got here? away from Lamat, wherever they might go. Though the members of the garrison here are bound by kingdom law, many of the soldiers still live by Serani custom, as I do. It is not easy to fight our feelings about the Grey Ones. If indeed these Grey Warriors have stolen rubies, I suggest you seek out a man with tainted honor. Kiefer Alice Cook in the town of L'Oreal. He's a gem merchant there, out of his home. Man, it's too much reading. I'm losing my voice. It's water here. Thefts. I get the feeling this ruby theft isn't an isolated incident. You listen between my words. This is the 6th such theft in the past year. Twice gems have been stolen near the Assembly of Magicians from Great One Makala's entourage. That would be no simple feat to accomplish, even for a master thief. Whoever it is that is responsible, he must fear little if he doesn't fear the wrath of a Great One. I would take care of following this thief, friend. I sense he is very dangerous. Goodbye. Thank you for your services, Swani. You have a wonderful establishment. It's very Serani. Your patronage honors us. Goodbye. I promise if I'm ever in Lamut again, I'll be sure to drop in for a bit of something to eat. Let's play the lute again. You have to keep playing it. Every time you play it, you get a little bit better. And eventually you can make money doing it, so. Did it go up at all? It's Bardine? I can't remember what it was at. Oh, okay. They have like a little description of who they are. I guess I should read that for you guys, so you know who's who. So this world is ruled by magicians. The world across the portal is ruled by magicians, the Great Ones. And the first main story in the books was about a human like servant who got sucked into their world, and he ended up learning magic and becoming the most powerful magician, of course. And his name's Pug, and I think you run into him in this game. He's kind of like the Raceland or Elminster, if you're a D&D guy, of this world. Locklear, so, wrong button. Let's get some background on these guys, because I haven't read enough yet. Son of the Baron of Land's End, Locklear has achieved great notoriety while serving Arutha Condoin, Prince of Krondor. Pug, just Pug, like Tim, yep. Decorated for his service at the battles of Armengar and Sethanon during the war known as the Great Rising, he is one of the most honorable nobles at the court of Krondor, and in many respects is considered an unofficial member of the royal family. Hey Joe, how you doing? In the 9th year of the reign of King Liam I, Locklear entered the service of a northern kingdom garrison to investigate reports of a conflict raging in the Northlands. Shortly after his arrival, his military escort was attacked by Mordel raiders, and Locklear found himself cut off from his companions. Later, upon seeing someone fleeing a Mordel warrior, Locklear slew the aggressor, only to discover the man he had saved was in fact a Mordel himself, Gorath of the Ardanian clan. Alright, so now we know how he got to where we are. Owen. Oh yeah, Owen has magic. Can we get there's no descriptions of the spells. Every time I click a spell, it's just like freaking out and going to the next guy. So let's stop clicking the spells then. Owen. More often than not, Owen Belafort has been a political embarrassment to his father, the Count of Tyburn. As a result, he has been given a degree of freedom even his elder brothers are envious of, though his father hopes he will one day settle down enough to become a marriageable suitor for the daughter of the Duke of Uper. Far craftier than he is often given credit for, Owen has a keen eye for detail and can often see patterns invisible to those around him. All his life, Owen has dreamed of studying magic, and on many occasions has set elaborate plots in motion to spend time with masters of the arcane arts. He undertook his most notable endeavor when he was only 14 and vacationing in the city of Ran. Having spent the previous summer needling the household staff about his father's accounts, Owen discovered a means of redirecting a portion of his father's wealth and managed to hire a magical tutor for nearly 7 months. Finally, his father detected his activities and recalled him home to Tyburn. Thereafter, the Belafort household staff was ordered to strict silence while in Master Owen's presence. Okay. And Gorath. Although he is an eligible claimant to the Mordel throne of Sar Sargoth, Gorath has never desired to meddle in the politics of the Northlands, but often he has had little choice. He's been notably vocal in his criticism of the leadership of Delican, a Moradel who distinguished himself during the Great Rising as one of Romandamus's field generals and later claimed the throne of Sarsargoth for his own. Gorath himself has led an impressive military career during the Rift War. He directed one of the only Moradel defensives to successfully withstand Serani aggression. As he beat back invaders, thousands of Moradel escaped their homes in the Greenheart Forest to the safety offered by the Northlands. Only starvation and superior Serani numbers eventually drove Gorath and his tribe of Ardanian to flee across the great northern mountains to their waiting cousins. Alright. So we have everybody in our party is like nobility. So, when we talked to the innkeeper, he said those jewel thieves went to L'Oreal, which is over here. So we gotta go down here, and then over there. So, and you can also, instead of moving in first person, you can also navigate via the map if you want, but then you can't see treasures and stuff. The assassin was a mercenary. Locklear could tell by the hardened set of the Moradel warrior's face that he hadn't hunted them down to avenge a wrong done him, hadn't chased them to collect the debt. He had come because the coin had been of the right color and in the right amount. And for that price, win or lose, he would fight them to the death. Alright, here's our first look at combat in the game. So it's turn-based, takes place on a grid. Pretty standard stuff. I don't think we need to use magic. So you just wait there. Can't move close enough to hit you, so we'll let you come to me. There we go. Nice job. There we go. First battle won. The battle was won. Search the body for supplies, Locklear suggested, then amended, but make it quick. If there are more waiting out there, let's not be here when they return. Owen checked the corpse. No sense being squeamish, she said, rifling through a rucksack which lay next to the body. Supplies are supplies wherever you find them. This fellow won't be needing them anymore. Better armor for him. 42. The crappy money. Right. There you go. Magic is a little strange. You use your hit points. There's no mana. You have like a stamina meter. It's like physically draining to use magic. And night is coming up on us here. So what's this road? This little side road here. I don't know where this leads. Was this the mines where the dwarves are? A sulphur stench was in the wind. This must be the Mac Mordain Cadal, Locklear said, his eyes glazing as he lost himself in thought. I knew that it was somewhere close. As I recall, Mac is dwarven for mine, or cave, or something like that. Now, considering the dwarves are no friends of the Moradel, they might be of some assistance to us, assuming they don't take exception to Gorath here. Do we investigate? Sure. The tunnels were damp, though the silver-seamed earthen roof, which stretched over their heads, was tall enough that they didn't have to crouch. Locklear felt hemmed in by the shaft. He was privately thankful the dwarves were larger than they were, often given credit for in the legends. It's dark, but we don't have any torches, even though there appear to be lit torches on the walls. Sparks rocketed down the corridor, slamming Owen flat against the mineshaft walls. Locklear narrowly leapt for cover himself as something skidded along the rocky floor. Abruptly, the glowing cone of fire winked out of existence as it collided with an unseen wall. After several long heartbeats, the senior peeled himself away from the wall just in time to meet the gaze of a short tree stump of a man.
Bah! I thought I had a black noodle.
Bloody awful hammer, you'd best have a demon in your bones. You have come to take a whack at killing the beastie, have you not? Beastie? Beastie, aye. Half a week ago we heard something fierce a baying in the mine, terrible cold like. Of course the dwarf knows the sound, instant whether he's heard it before or not. Brak Noor. Curse of every hold dweller since the first dwarves took up hammers. Never heard of them. No one has in quite a while, laddie. There hasn't been a Braknur in the upper mines for well on since Delong the Great laid claim to the kingdom of the Isles. We thought we laid low the lot of them, but the kobolds are stirring them up on their quest. Kobolds? Your folk call them gnomes. We used to worship a dragon what lived down here, but when the dragon disappeared, they thought the dwarven folk ate him away. Every now and again, their leader, Fader, takes a notion to undertake a holy quest to find him. This time they must have woke up a clutch of Braknur. Now the Nur have collapsed the main passage and killed 30 of our kin. We have a reward for whoever can do it in, if you're of a mind and have the spirit, that is. Tell us about the Braknur. I'm not saying we're interested in killing your Braknur, but if we were looking for it, what would it be like? Half again your height and made of stone, just living rock they are. From out their nostrils they breathe a green mist, but I'd be wary of getting too close to look, for they'll drop a boulder on your head sure enough. We've already had a few bravos what's come in to try a hand at killing the beastie, but there's not much they've been able to do themselves, beyond get themselves so mangled they need the help of a temple. I'd be as wary of them, though, as I would be of the beastie. They, none of them, want else but them to claim the gold that we've offered to the creature's slayer. Temples. The way things have been going for us recently, perhaps we would do well to seek a little help at the temples as well. Where are the closest ones? Braknur equal Darkspawn. More like a stone golem, sounds like. We dwarves don't much dawdle outside the grey towers or Stone Mountain, but as I can, there's a temple of Killian betwixt Zun and Hawk's Hollow. I think there also might be a temple of Ishap here close, but I can't recall exact where that would be. Armor repair. The barkeeper at the Blue Wheel Inn at Lamut suggested you might be able to repair our armor. If we weren't digging ourselves out of this pretty mess, we could do something for you. We're all tied up to a man. Pardon my saying so, but we've problems a bit more pressing than dealing with dented armor. You might have tried a hermit what lives near Hawk's Hollow. He gained something of a reputation for himself over the past few years. Excuse me, sorry about that. Need some water here. Swords. If you can't repair armor, do you at least think you could do something about our swords? I hate to be difficult, but we're really in a crucial situation. Are you deaf, laddie? I told you afore we haven't the time to go repairing things at the moment. We're in a crucial situation ourselves, if you haven't noticed. We'd be willing to pay you. No, we wouldn't. We're broke. I'm sure you would. Just as sure as I know the dwarves below would be willing to pay to get out from under the rock. It's a question of time. Time! Bah, look, if I show you a trick to sharpening your swords, will you promise not to be bothering anyone else in the mine? I think I could turn a handful of sovereigns to advantage in Lamut and hire a few strong backs. You have my word of honor. That shall have to do. I'll teach you a quick little about weapon crafting, but I'll expect a fee of 50 sovereigns for my trouble. Do we have a deal? I think sovereigns are gold, and I don't think we have even a single gold, but let's say yes and see what happens. Have you ever had the feeling that the gods were toying with you? You don't have the money to pay me? If you can't spare the money, then I can't spare the time. It's as simple as that. Okay. Thank you for your time, Nader. I hope you can get things straightened out down here. We'll be fine as soon as we're through some of this rock and the Braknur's laid low. You cannot keep us down. I didn't think so. Perhaps we'll meet again. Okay, I'm going to open up Notepad here and start taking notes. Because there's no quest journal or anything in this game, so... Okay, so first of all, there is a combat trainer in Lamut, and a weapon craft trainer in Backwardane. And quests, gem thieves in, what was the name of that city again? L'Oreal. And kill stone monster. Backwardane. Okay. When in doubt, make your own quest journal. Wow, I can barely see that map. It's so friggin' dark in here. Okay, well, let's explore this mine and see if this stone monster is killable. I have a feeling it's going to kick the shit out of us, but we'll see what happens. Wish we had torches. I can barely see. I imagine it's probably even worse on stream. Gorath yawned. We need rest, he said, looking for a good place to camp. If we go much further without sleep, we might not be able to handle any unexpected surprises on the road. There are torches in the game, I just don't have any. Something moved. On second thought, let's not sleep here, Locklear whispered, gathering up his pack. I get the uneasy feeling someone may be watching us. Pick up your things as quietly as possible and let's move out. But yeah, we don't have any torches. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to be here yet, and we're going to die horribly, but gotta take a look. Unless he has a light spell. Candle glow. Aha! An artificial light dissolved the darkness. Owen shook his head, trying desperately to break his concentration. Blinking rapidly, he let his eyes adjust to the strange artificial light. I'm okay. Let's get going. Ah, much better. Yeah, I know you're tired. We can't sleep here. The box's lid refused to budge. It appears to be locked, Gorath said. Shall we try to open it? Yep. I have a key. Locklear turned the key slowly. Feeling some resistance, he applied a bit more pressure, praying he had the right key, that the mechanism inside wasn't hopelessly jammed. Damn, Locklear spat. It broke. We'll have to try another key or try to pick it. There we go. Picked it. The lock was simple. As the old saying goes, locks are for children and fools, Locklear said. After a few seconds, he flipped the picklocks into the air and caught them. I am no fool. Money, money, money. Money. Oh, these bad guys. A group shambled towards them, worshippers of Guiswa, the red-jawed hunter. The group moved in a disorderly clump, the hollows underneath their vacant eyes adorned with blood-colored whorls of pigment. Displaying a three-fingered hand, a ritual mutilation of the priestly caste, a large figure rasped, Today Guiswa ordains that you shall be his prey. 4? Oh boy. Oh, they got an archer and a wizard. Okay. Go after the archer. You fight that guy. Ah, shit. Yeah, we're gonna get wrecked. I can't even hit these guys. And I can't cast spells. You can't cast spells when enemies are right next to you, so hit them with your stick. Hey, he's not stunned anymore. Get this guy off him. We have 52% chance. Whiff. Ow! Hey, we hit him. How are you not dead? Now he's dead. Doesn't look like there's any way to load your game from the middle of combat, so I just turn on auto combat. Hey, Gorath killed one of them. Locklear's getting the shit kicked out of him. Bam. Exit. I think exit just exits auto combat. Yeah, lets me take control again. Damn. Are we actually gonna win this? I don't know how death works in this game. I can't remember. I think they just get knocked out. Victory! A gasp escaped Owen's lips as he levered himself into an upright position and looked over his wounds. I think I'll amend the plan, Owen said. My wounds are mortal. You go on without me. No one gets left behind, Gorath shot back angrily. No one. Get your things and we move. We'll find a healer for you along the way who can help. Condition near death. Yeah, so I think we have to get to a temple or something. Let's just load our game and not fight those guys and get the hell out of this mine. Wasn't for nothing, we found some cash in that chest. There's no sidestepping, eh? No, okay. Yeah, I know you're tired, I know. Yep, it's the right way. Just go straight. Yes, thank you.
Bah! I thought I had a black noodle.
There we go. Quick camp here. Cool. Okay, so we want to keep going towards Lorelei, or L'Oreal, sorry. So we gotta keep going south a bit. They were being watched. Unsure where their observers were located, Locklear wheeled about just as a figure emerged from behind the trees. I love the soundtrack to this game. Even though I haven't played this in like 20 years, I still remember the music. And this is the CD-ROM version, which has a better soundtrack than the original. The only problem with the CD-ROM version is the music doesn't loop, so if this fight takes too long, the song just stops. Spare thy eyes. Blinds the target. There we go. Whoops, I don't want to walk over there. Damn it. Boom. Nice, you hit him. I guess he's blind. It should be a free hit. Yes, because the song doesn't loop, the music just stops. We can switch to MIDI. The MIDI music does loop, but the MIDI music doesn't sound as good. So. The battle was won. Search the bodies. They may have valuable supplies. Locklear suggested that amended make up quick. It's the same thing he said last time. It's fine. Yeah. Ooh, 77% armor, 86% sword. And this is a whetstone, I think, right? Yep. Can use that to repair our weapons. And this guy. More good stuff. These aren't spoiled, no, okay. Alright. Oops. So we should be coming up on Zune here. Oops, wrong button. There we go. Here we go. So yeah, on the map, the towns that are brown dots, like you can see there's brown dots and white dots. The brown dots, like the houses, are actual physical objects in the world, and then the white dots are like about where it's a picture that you interact with. But this town, since it's a little town, it's just houses that we can actually like walk up to and see. Locklear rapped on the tavern door. When it was apparent no one was coming to open up, Locklear shrugged. Well, it would seem the common folk have taken Prince of Ruthless laws to heart. Doors only open from midday to midnight, he said with a sigh. But I suppose someone had to ensure the farmers weren't drinking when they should be in the fields. Sometimes he really takes all the fun out of life. That he does. Can rest till midday. There we go. The tavern. Use your words. Try that again. The tavern keeper greeted them at the door. Guiding them inside to a cluster of tables, he produced a sheaf of papers which had been inked with the name of various goods and drinks, above which had been written the name of the tavern, the Green Cat. Quite something, eh? The tavern keeper said in obvious admiration. It's to become the fashion in all the taverns and inns, I hear. I believe the word for it is menu. Unfortunately, I won't have anything on it for a while, so gents, can I get you a bit to eat? Cash up front, if you don't mind, he says, rubbing his fingers together. 1 day's rations is a gold piece. We still don't have 1 gold. Okay. The door swung open. Bleary-eyed and smelling of alcohol, a 40-ish looking man sneered at them. Well, what do you want? He shouted. Out with it. We were hoping you could give us directions. Directions? Directions? The man's eyes blazed as he snared a wine bottle from the floor. I'll give you directions. Before Locklear could react, he felt the impact of the wine bottle against his skull. You fucker. That did 25 damage. Bitch. Locklear pounded on the door. No one answered. Resigned that the drunk wasn't going to face them down in a fair fight, he shrugged it and turned his back. I don't guess he's going to answer it now, he said, touching a tender spot on his head. Let's go on. Locklear knocked on the door of the small wooden house, then waited patiently for someone to answer. After several seconds, a woman appeared and ushered them inside. I don't have time to talk unless it's really important, sirs. I have to finish preparing some mushrooms that I picked for the shopkeeper over at Kedge's. He nearly ran out of healing restoratives yesterday, and you know what they say. You can kill me, but you can't eat me. That's a strange expression, Gorath said. What does it mean? To tell the truth, I don't know, the woman replied, her face brightening into a wide grin. It was something that the Baron Kevin used to say. Never could make any sense out of it. Now, if you excuse me, I really must be running along. You can't kill me. You can kill me, but you can't eat me. What? What the hell does that even mean? Locklear knocked on the door. For a long moment he leaned against the door frame as he waited, positioning himself so he could listen for the sounds of any stirrings inside. When at last it was evident no one was coming, he stepped back with a shrug. Doesn't seem anyone's about, Locklear said. Is there anything behind your houses here? No. No answer. This place is abandoned, Gorath said, looking around the room. Maybe the occupants left behind something we can use. Let's have a look. Bowstring. And some cash. Yes, break into an empty house, steal whatever's in it. I mean, the occupants are probably out at the grocery store buying food or whatever, but that's fine. We can just break in and steal everything. It's all good. So there should be... Is it behind us, the road going east? Must be. there should be a road going to Hawks Hollow, but maybe... Can we scroll? Oh, that actually moves you. Oops. Nope, it's definitely not up there. There it is. Okay. Locklear struggled to make sense of it all. As the enemy advanced, his concentration was in two places. In his legs, making certain of his stance and balance, and on his opponents, wondering how they had been able to track them down so quickly. All such thoughts were quickly forgotten as the enemy charged into their ranks. What else do we got? Invitation. Don't know. What does this do? Pulls target forward. Why would I want to do that? And this transfers health from me to someone else. Kind of a ghetto healing spell. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, go beat up this guy. Yeah. Oh, he's not blind anymore. Can I move? No, not. Oh, damn it. You should probably just defend yourself, because you can't fight for shit. You get more spells as you go. They're in different categories, I guess, like circles of magic. That's what that whole weird symbol thing's all about. Would one of you guys please die? And by one of you, I mean not me. There we go. At least he's defending himself well. Yes. You chicken shit. But yeah, there'll be like full lists of spells under each of these icons. I can't even catch up to him. No, I want your fat loot. Get back here. No. He was alive. Unsure whether it was skill or luck that had won them the fight, Locklear set aside his weapon. Though he allowed his dead opponent a wide berth while he checked on Gorath's welfare, he needed no further excitement for the day. That is not the button I wanted to click. There we go. You always have to check your rations. Sometimes they'll be spoiled, and if they get mixed in with your regular rations, you guys will eat them and get sick. So always check your food. Let's rest until morning here. And then save our game. And continue onward to L'Oreal. Oh, temple? Incense swirled, striding between the columns of the temple. Locklear made for the heavy wooden doors, which had been sealed against the daylight, and which preserved the privacy of any ceremonies in progress. Pulling a tasseled rope which hung next to the door, he waited the response of the door warden. The Temple of Killian. The meditation chamber was Spartan and strangely cold, seeming all the colder for the heatless flame which burned in the holy censer. The only bow that had been made to adornment in the temple appeared to be the strange pattern that had been etched upon the wall. So these are fast travel points. You can use the temples once you find more than one to travel quickly around the world. The design was odd. I see the mandala interests you. Turning, Locklear noticed a thin young man standing in the archway, his hands hidden in the folds of his robe. While the relations between the temples and the new Academy of Magic at Stardock have been cool, it is one of the treasures they have passed on of the Serani magic. It has given us great mobility. Mobility? Locklear asked. How can a painting help you move? The acolyte smiled. It would be easier to explain by example. Tell me about a place you're familiar with, a place where you have spent a good deal of time. Locklear shrugged, describing the place he had grown up, the layout of the rooms, the various things associated with his home. Very good, the man replied. As you described those things to me, doubtless you also experienced certain memories through which you are able to relive your past. In the same way, these mandalas help us locate a place. By memorizing a pattern painted on the wall of a specific temple, we may will ourselves there. I could think my way home with this? No, the memory of your home would be too unfocused for you to make the attempt. But if you were to memorize the pattern, you could return here by recalling its image in your mind when assisted by the power of another temple. Locklear looked back at the mandala. Lost in thought for a moment, his eyes soaked up the intricacies. Try that again. His eyes soaking up the intricacies of it. I assumed there would be some fee associated with moving between locations. The acolyte nodded. As simple as it is in concept, it still requires a great deal of effort to move even a single individual, though I am told the Serani Great Ones move about with less effort. I believe Pug wished to restrict our knowledge of this in some ways until we had proven we would not abuse its power. A bell sounded. Abruptly, a dark-robed priest swept into the room and came to a halt behind Locklear. I was alerted that you might desire to use the mandala. Desire, perhaps, but I haven't seen any of the other symbols, Locklear said. I don't suppose you could go with us. I am regret that I cannot assist you. That's a typo. Should be I am regretful. The priest said, My duties require I stay here to guide others that wish to arrive. I am sorry. What do we got? The fire was cold. Unnerved by the unnatural flame, Locklear decided to explore elsewhere. Locklear pulled the curtains aside. The rear section of the temple was as dramatic as was the meditation chamber. A large pool occupied the center of a lush courtyard and was hemmed in on all sides by an alabaster peristyle with climbing vines. Cloistered immediately off the open area were several arches, doorways either blocked by heavily woven curtains or choked with clouds of obscuring incense. Nearby, a gong sounded, and immediately a priest hurried out of the doorway, halting as he caught sight of the unexpected supplicants. Talk. This is a very text-heavy game, as you guys can tell. They were shown to a chamber. Here, there were no flagstones or chipped tiles underneath their feet, but instead a thick carpet of grass jeweled with dew. At the far end of the room, a pair of yew trees overarched a throne of woven reed, upon which was seated a striking-looking woman, her shoulder-length black hair bound behind her back with a green cord. I am the high priestess of this temple, she said musically. Killian welcomes you to her domain. Come, be seated. Listening with keen interest to the stories told by Locklear, the priestess remained as motionless as a statue. At last, she folded her hands in her lap and sighed heavily. That was most entertaining, she said. I particularly like the part about the drunk. But I would advise you in the future to keep an eye on the food you eat. You shouldn't simply gulp down the first thing you find without taking a look at it first. Properly chastened, Locklear shrugged his shoulders and promised he would be more careful in the future. Cheered he didn't mind when the high priestess escorted them from the room. Guess that's a hint about the food I was talking about. Cure, bless, done. Don't need either of those. The priests bid them farewell. Leaving the lushness of the central courtyard, they passed back through the curtains into the deserted meditation chamber. Alright, so we found our first travel symbol, which is handy. Where are we anyway? We got a long ways to go just to Hawks Hollow, let alone Laura. L'Oreal. Let's see what's so. Treasure. Roughen its construction and band it with iron. It's word lock, yeah, we know. Gorath scanned the runes embossed on the Moradel clue plate. Its text, their only hope of opening the difficult word lock. Can you place custom notes on the map? I don't think so. When it comes in from sea to shore, 20 paces you'll see, no less, no more. Fog? 3 letters? Yep. Nice. The chest thumped. Satisfied the magical locks had released, Owen tipped open the large wooden lid. Sword. Okay, we're gonna have to sell some stuff soon. Oh, money. And a bunch of lockpicks. Good stuff. But yeah, I don't think there's any way to... Yeah, there's no map notes, unfortunately. That would be really nice, but not to be. Is this just a fence? Hello. Locklear gasped. Severed head spun in grey space before him. His disembodied arms and legs flailed together with a sound much like the clashing of kitchen scullery. Looking closer, he realized that the body parts were not in fact body parts, but instead very tarnished pieces of armor that had been suspended from the shop's rafters. You there, careful! It may all come down on our heads. A gnomish man approached from the rear of the shop, a match held tight between his fingers. Should have knocked. Nearly didn't hear you from upstairs. I can see why you came in, though. Your armor is in quite a state. Another blow to your suit, and you'll look like those lot up there. I'll fix you right up. If it's all the same, I'd prefer to buy an armorer's hammer. I'm sure you would, but I'm not in the business of ruining my livelihood. I'm an armorer, and I make my living in repairs. People go fixing their own, and I'm out of business, right? $7 gold? Nope. Okay. Why don't you just wear that one? You can wear that one. You can wear that one. Oh, hey. We actually do have torches. I didn't even know. Herbal pack. It's for healing, I guess. Why do you have 14 rations and everyone else is like not even close to that? Trying to evenly distribute my food. 3. What the? Whatever. Rest until morning, because I can't see a goddamn thing. Just a path to nothing. Sell him something. There's no sell or buy option, it was just repair. Otherwise, I definitely would have. When we get to Hawks Hollow, I'll sell some stuff. There's probably a store there. Speaking of which, how far are we from Hawks Hollow? We're almost there. Nothing. Another path to nothing. Nothing hidden behind the trees. No. Okay. Locklear swallowed hard. With his heart pounding in his chest, he watched the enemy creep closer. Fighting the urge to turn around and run like hell, he forced himself to remain calm, forced himself to show no fear, despite the feelings of near panic that thrilled above him. I think using this passes your turn and fills your stamina a bit. No, don't. Damn it. Misclicked there. Yeah, he's getting like 2 stamina. Bonk. There we go. Some cash. Ooh. Mortal Lamprey. 3 plus strength. 5 plus skill. Is that a gold? No, it's silver. Fuck. Good old regular rations. But yeah, the music not looping is kind of annoying. But to give you an idea of the difference, like listen to the theme here. Right, and then if we switch it to MIDI. Like, as far as MIDI music goes, it's pretty good. But it doesn't compare to the CD music. But it loops properly. This would be Hawk's Hollow, I take it. Locklear pushed the door open. As he passed through, he noted the lack of a door latch, a sign the inn was likely chartered by the local lord to ensure the safety of travelers. Hopefully it would also mean the inn's furnishings would be suitable. Yeah, CD music. Except for a thin strip of floor that led between the door, the counter, and the stairs, a great cowl of dust coated the inn's fixtures. The patrons of the inn seemed similarly stagnant as they glanced up lazily from their mugs of ale and brandy. Okay, so he's just the same thing the other rude guy at the bar said. How about you? Yeah, that's how this worked. It's Redbook audio, so you could take the game CD and listen to it like an audio CD if you wanted to. Locklear tapped the woman's shoulder. Slowly she turned to look at him, but rather than greeting him with a smile, in her gaze was a look he had thought reserved only for things that crawled on the ground or lapped up table leavings in the dooryard. What do you want? I was hoping perhaps we could talk, Locklear ventured. Pass the time with a little conversation. Why? She said curtly. Opening his mouth to reply, but suddenly finding himself bereft of adequate speech, he made a small sound which he was certain sounded quite unmanly. Stabbing him with her exquisitely beautiful stare, she smiled. I thought as much. Goodbye, sir. I'm sure you have a brilliant oratory career before you. 7 sovereigns for the night. Oh, we do have gold. Okay. Okay. So we're not as broke as I thought. If you lost my beds, I'll charge you double. It does heal much faster if you do it at an inn, so yeah, let's stay. The room was cramped. Shrugging, Owen stepped over the snoring bodies and selected a spot of floor which looked like it might be comfortable for the night, while Gora squeezed into a bed already occupied by 3 disheveled-looking men. Ah, the romance of traveling, Owen said with a chuckle. Anyway. This is all pointless, just... No, I don't need to stay another night. Let's hit them with some music. Jam out, Owen. Yeah. Yeah. The party's partying ability has increased. Yeah, you can grind that. You can literally just sit outside and just go in and out, in and out, in and out, and keep partying to get it up. And eventually start making some money. I might do that off stream, actually. That's a fancy looking building. What's this? Luckler pushed the door open. Looks like an abandoned tavern, Gorath said, looking around the room. Maybe the former owners left something behind we can use. Rations. Spoiled rations. There we go. That's why you check. We don't want these ones. But these guys definitely take 14 more rations. The door opened a fraction of an inch. Your hands, a voice commanded. Pardon? What'd you say? Show me your hands, a voice repeated from the darkness. Palms up, thumb out, and don't make any sudden moves. Faintly amused, Locklear complied and did as asked, extending both his hands for the stranger's examination. On command, he turned his hands over, again waiting for the judgment of the voice in the house. You pass, the voice in the house pronounced at last, but his voice did not sound relieved. All right then, listen carefully and don't ask any questions. What was all that hand business about? I said no questions, the voice snapped. Suffice it to say, I know that you can be trusted with what I have to say because you don't bear the sign. You should be on the lookout for scrolls or anyone bearing scrolls. Read them carefully. They could save your life. Be safe. Scrolls? Locklear asked. Why? What's on these scrolls? Does it have anything? Abruptly, the door slammed shut. Okay. A bell rang. No sooner had Locklear managed to get the door open than he found the shopkeeper was escorting him inside. Alright, now we can sell some stuff. He doesn't want to buy armor. Awesome. Want to buy a sword? Nope. Worst audiobook ever. Where did they find this guy? I'm doing my best, man. Come on. Amulet of an upright man. Just try to ignore how shitty I sound and just listen to the great music. Locklear knocked on the door of the small house, and after several minutes an angry woman appeared at the window and began to scream at them. Keep your bloody sovereigns. I've decided I'm not leaving. Why should we want you to leave? I refuse, you hear me? I refuse. Now go away. Locklear knocked on the window pane. She's not answering, he said. What the fuck was that about? Nothing back there. I like the sound when you walk into a wall. Thump. Alright, I think we've looked everywhere in this town. So we need to go north, right? Yeah. Locklear smiled. Although the approaching man seemed half a hand shorter for the passage of 11 years, his halting stride was still as personal to him as his signature. Ages past, Isaac had suffered his limp proudly, worn it like an injury sustained on a field of battle, and for that he had gained the respect and admiration of Krondor's young squires, Locklear among them. His tragic expulsion from Arutha's court had been a blow to them all.
I thought I recognized you.
The years have worn you well, old squire, despite the fact it seems to have darkened your hair a bit. What did you do, stick your head in a barrel of pitch? Scoundrel, I would have thought you strung up for impersonating a duke by now. How are you, Isaac? It's been since Arutha's wedding, hasn't it? The very day you should have heard the fit master of ceremonies de Lacey through when he found out I wasn't the Count of Dorgan's son. I dare say he would have tossed me over the palace walls himself if he hadn't been busy with the details of the blessed event. I've kept busy since then, spent the last few years on the road doing odd jobs along the border. You'd be surprised at all the things I've learned and seen since I've left Krondor. Surprise me then, you always were a rumor monger. Some tragic hair, yes. Well, what would you like to know about? Safe passage. I've just returned from a military assignment, and it's imperative that I get south as soon and as inconspicuously as possible. Are there any places you think we should avoid? At all costs, you'll want to avoid the road from Eggley to Tanniers. There is a festival to be held in Eggley, and it's likely your elfin companion would be spotted right away. What makes you think that we're off to Krondor? Elves don't come out. Why can't I talk anymore? Holy shit. Elves don't come much out of Elvendar, and they are even less likely to travel in the company of a boy and a seigneur when they do take to voyaging. Whatever you three are about, I assumed it must involve the good of the kingdom. Krondor would be the only logical place for you to go. Mind readers. These roads seem littered with those anxious to anticipate our movements. Do you know of anyone in this area that seems to have unusual skills? Someone who seems like they know your thoughts. No, for a fact I can't say that I have, but a certain poker player that I had lost a great deal of money to in Eggley comes to mind, name of Devon, I believe. Took me quite a while to make up the funds I lost during a single night playing against him. He very nearly took every sovereign I've made in a month's time. Let's make a note. So down Eggley, poker player Devon. I don't know why we need to know that, but whoa, my mouse is going nuts. There we go. Alt tabbing out DOSBox sometimes does that. As much as I would like to stand about gossiping, I suppose we three need to head back. Need to hie back? Hie? H-I-E? Need to hie back to the road before Prince Arutha sends out a search party for us. The prince is expecting you then. Please send His Highness my regards. Here's 5 to gamble with. Oh, 5 bits. Thank you very much, man. That's nice of you. Okay. One more bit for the road. Something's buried in the dirt. Ooh, money. And more of this bow repair stuff. Really? I can't even carry that. And these you just sell for cash, yeah. Really? God damn it. We need to find a store that'll buy our weapons and armor. But let's head back to Oxhall real quick. Where is it again? Over here? Yeah. Because there was the store that will definitely buy this seashell we just picked up. Three sovereigns and 8 royals. God damn it. He's my best haggler, so I'm trying to move it to his inventory so I can... Fuck. Oh well. Oh well. Boo to that. And now it's dark. So we need to go north. I can't see a goddamn thing. No, I don't want to talk to you again. Go away. A pebble tumbled down the cliff face. Puzzled by the seemingly random event, Owen glanced upwards, then back down at the ground. On closer examination, he realized the pebble was in fact a very dull brass button. Before he could cry out, ambushers fell from above. Ow! There we go. Gorath's abilities have increased. His barding went up, accuracy melee good. Good. Non-spoiled rations. Why can't I share them? No room for any of that. I can't tell if the throttle on this game is off. The overworld is fast as fuck, but combat, oh my god. Yeah, it lets you move fast when you want. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I want to save, because we want to fight. Side path here. What do we have? Oh, we got an ambush. So when you see enemies like this, you can click on them and then you'll get the jump on them. They agreed to attack, going over the plan as quickly as possible. Locklear laid out a simple strategy. We're set then. Let's just hope our advance is undetected or our advantage will be lost. Locklear charged forward. Caught off guard, their opponents scrambled around helplessly before finally squaring off in a defensive position. Exploiting their momentary advantage, Locklear barked several quick commands and prepared to join the battle. I love this game's soundtrack so much. Blind him. Too far away. Shit. What? You shithead. Damn it. Please hit him. Stop missing, Gorath. Ah. chicken shit. Hate it when enemies run away. You don't get any loot for them. Pig fucker. You ain't going nowhere. Guess that's a double negative, but whatever. Thump. Yay. We really need to free up inventory space. Are they both carrying the exact same thing, or am I just not able to click because they're too bunched up? Here we go. 64 and 60. That's definitely better than this crap. Oh, ambush. At least it's just one guy. You get some stamina back. Fucking son of a bitch. So we get nothing? God damn it. We need a crossbow already. The enemy had fled. I like the way this feels. It's possible there are more lying to wait for us. Let's make sure we aren't here should they decide to come for us. Stupid chicken shit enemies. Hello, what's this? A piece of paper dangled from the doorknob. At all costs, travelers should avoid contact with Orno, known widely as Orno the Pale. Locklear read aloud. A contagion of unknown proportions has already led to the illness of 3 people. Avoid any contact with ... The door swung open. Him. Locklear straightened himself as a haggard-looking man in his mid-20s appeared in the doorway, his face covered with a bloody handkerchief. You are Orno? Yes, he wheezed through his handkerchief. And you're on my doorstep. Get away before get yourselves infected. What's wrong with you? The man shook his head. Don't know. Doctors don't know. Priests don't know. Nobody knows. Only persons that survived is Michelle the healer, but she's a ways off in L'Oreal. I see, Locklear said. Well, we'll be off now. Sorry to have bothered you. Again the man nodded. I's sure you will be. I's sure of it. No one wished to speak about it, seeing the glazed looks in each other's eyes and the sickly pallor each had begun to exhibit. It was more than obvious they had fallen prey to a virulent plague. Silently, Locklear hoped they would reach the temple soon before they all died of it. Let's not do that. We'll just pass that house. Just keep on walking by. Oh, there are wagon tracks on the ground here, but something's not right. They look fairly old, but the marks are too thin. Ordinary wagon wheels are about, say, 6 inches. These couldn't be wider than 3. There could be an ambush ahead. If we proceed in the direction we are currently heading, we should do so with great caution. And there's the ambush. Ah! Ooh. Get him! Shit, he didn't die. Get on the other side of him. There we go. Aha! No escape for you this time, punk. Money. Hello, what's this? Elven armor. So it's 25% protection, whereas this is 15%. Okay. So it is better. What's the crappiest armor we're carrying? 23%. Get gone. Take that. Nobody's got a sword that shitty. Oh, I keep forgetting we got this. It's probably better. We should equip it. So this does, whoops, 3 plus strength, whereas this does 0 plus strength, but it's more accurate. Way more accurate. In that case, we'll stick with what we're using, because I think accuracy is a problem we're currently having. That probably just leads to where that plague house was. Let's not go there. What a terrible place to live, where a few words of magic can cure and there still be plagues. Yeah, no kidding, eh? Ambush this guy. The enemy was waiting for them. They've seen us, Locklear shouted. Shifted his concentration. Yeah, we know. We've seen that before. 3 of them. Uh-oh. Ow! Really? You can just diagonally just skip out. There we go. Plague is hard to cure. Need longer words. Party's abilities have increased. Whetstone. Oops. What can we... First of all, we want that 95% sword for sure. I can't fit anything else on the corpse. Come on. Spoiled rations. Alright. Last time I saw combat this slow was battle chess. You don't like the combat? I like the combat. But I like turn-based combat, so that's me. This is L'Oreal. This is where we're trying to get to. Okay. Does damage get lower the worse the state of your weapon is? Probably. Either that or your accuracy. Midday to midnight. What time is it? Oh, it's not midday. Oh, I'm so sorry. But it's midday. I just... Okay. Can we sell armor and weapons here? Please tell me yes, they will definitely buy it. Okay. Why are these in two different stacks? It's weird. That 86% blade's pretty good. We'll keep that as a replacement. Okay. Making some money. What's he sell? Two-handed sword, broadsword, armor, armor's hammer. Haggle. Although it was immediately obvious the shopkeeper had no desire to haggle on the price, Owen pressed on, praying that his natural charm would win him a cheaper price. For a short time it seemed that the victim's will was eroding, but at last the shopkeeper rapped sharply on the counter. Enough, the shopkeeper said. Buy it at my price or be off with you. Boo. Okay. Nice. Here. Party's abilities have increased. Did my haggling go up? No. Probably armor craft, yeah. Okay, makes sense. A thin little man greeted them at the door. I'm Kiefer Alice Cook. Have you come to buy or sell some gems? Questioned in a frail voice. Locklear moved closer to the door. We're looking for a ruby that may have been stolen by a group of grey warriors. Have you purchased any gemstones from such men? I don't know what you're talking about, the man said quickly. I don't buy stolen merchandise. You might try talking to a fellow I ran into north of Hawks Hollow about it. Name's Isaac, I recall. The man looked about nervously. I'm not open for business right now. You'll have to come back later. Before Locklear could say another word, Kiefer closed the door. North of Hawks Hollow? So we want to go make a note here. North of Hawks Hollow, talk to Isaac. The house's occupant was talkative. Careful not to diverge any details about their trip, Locklear steered the conversation towards the townspeople. Everyone here is fine, folks, all except for Michelle the healer. I hope you're not planning to visit her. Why? Locklear asked. She's a snake, he said. Told me I was going to die, but you know what? I got better. Oh, I felt horrible enough for 3 or 4 days and thought I was going to die, but no, I made it through alive. I tell you, I think she and Orno the Pale have some kind of deal. He's giving them some kind of contagion, and then she's administering some kind of phony medicine. It's indecent. Really? So the guy who got us sick, some kind of twisted infection racket going on? That's fucked up. Locklear knocked on the door. For a moment he leaned against the door frame as he waited, positioning himself so he could listen for sounds of any stirrings inside. When at last it was evident no one was coming, he stepped back with a shrug. Doesn't seem anyone's about. Same thing. Okay, so north of Hawks Hollow. We are north of Hawks Hollow. What do you mean north of Hawks Hollow? Huh. Chasing down jewel thieves instead of following our important quest to go back to the kingdom. So that's the sick guy. A bird shot into the sky, searching the landscape for the source of the animal's discomfort. Gorath whispered, I think we might do well to pay attention to that little creature. Whatever startled it may be close at hand. Continue in the direction we're currently heading. I suggest we do so with great caution. We're about to get into a fight. We see anybody? Trigger an ambush? No. Here we go. What the hell? This looks like it might be bad. Get him. I can't get behind these. Oh, here we go. Ow! Holy fuck! Right. Huh. So that happened. Why, what? It's nice that the party's ability's increased, but, you know. Where are we? This is before or after we went into town? I think this is before. Shit. Talk to this guy again. Okay. Yeah, that went well. Oh, wait a minute. Those corpses are still there. We can take this stuff. What do you mean? Oh, fuck, I forgot to sell. Where's the shop then? Here it is. Okay. Okay, there we go. Right, we're going to loot these corpses now that we can and sell this stuff too. Click the third body, not that one. There we go. Spoiled rations, no thanks. Money. Okay. Now we'll save. Probably gonna get ambushed by whatever the hell is up with those weird wands coming out of the ground or whatever that was. Yeah, you get more money for better condition stuff, but I don't know if my skill is high enough that it like offsets the cost of buying the repair hammers and whetstones yet. Eventually, when I can repair them a ton, it's the way to go, but yeah, this dummy, no, don't talk to him. Wait, what was that? Oh. Oh, Isaac! This is the Isaac we're looking for the quest. Duh. Okay. Why, you want to buy it from me? So we just asked him if he had any stolen rubies. It's not like it's the only ruby in the world, you know. The ruby he sold you was stolen from a Serani magician who was passing through Lamut. The garrison would like the stone back. We were hoping we could talk you into at least returning it to Kiefer to get your money back. I'm sorry to hear about your dilemma, but I had no idea the stone was stolen when I paid Kiefer's price, and I have my own little problem. I need the stone so I can pay off a sword crafter and get my blade repaired. Can't you pay him with gold? Specifically barters and gems, and the ruby will cover my costs plus a little more. I should have enough left over to eat for a month or more. What if we can repair your sword for you? What, here in the middle of the road? Since I don't have a workshop, I don't see that we can do it anywhere else. Well, I suppose my blade is fairly expensive, and I'd hate to see it further damaged. It's conceivable you could do more harm than good. So unless you're really skilled at weapon craft, well, do you think you're really that good? Sure. Good enough. Your blade, please be careful. I paid quite a bit for it. Well, I have to say this. You appear to know what you're doing. It looks much better than it did. And will it hold the edge? You could cut up the whole of Delican's Moss Rangers and it'd still be sharp for a month after. Well, it looks as if you've come through on your end of the bargain. Remind me to give you the ruby before you leave. Give me the ruby. We got it. Nice. Okay. And now it's dark. Rest up. So the gem thief, we have to go all the way back to Lamut. Right, okay. Almost there. There's the mine. Captain Belford greeted them with a smile. "What brings you back here?" he asked cordially. Locklear drew out the ruby they had discovered. Holding it out for Bedford to see, the gemstone caught a shaft of sunlight, splashing the walls with thousands of twinkling red spots. "Are you returning McCullough's ruby?" "Yep." Locklear handed the ruby to Captain Belford. "I'm glad you found this," he said, placing the gemstone into a small velvet-lined box. "It'll be good to get McCullough off my back. I've sent so many men out looking for this blasted thing, there's hardly anyone left in the garrison." He retrieved a pouch from a locked chest in the corner. "Here you are, 100 gold sovereigns. Thank you, gents." Locklear put the pouch in his pack, and they left. Excuse me, sorry about that. Alright, Owen, get down. Let's see, let's exit town. We'll save, we'll do a test of the repair thing here, so. So how much is this worth? 2 sovereigns, 2 royals. 3 sovereigns. It's only one extra gold, because my repair skill isn't that great. I want to buy a crossbow. Kind of want to buy a crossbow, just to shoot people who run away. No haggling. Alright, we got a bow. Now, we can finally get back onto the actual, the main quest we're trying to do here. Where we go all the way down to Krondor. Igley, that's the town we were warned not to go to. Because there's some kind of festival going on there. But that's also where there's some kind of poker player who's a mind reader. Oops, we can go there some other time. Ambush up ahead. Let's just get daylight. This guy again. Wait. Guess we're just supposed to run away. Okay. This took some time for them to assemble. I thought perhaps the assassins that had attacked us thus far had followed us through the Inclindell, but there are too many of them even to chase a renegade like Gorath. Delacan has to be calling on spies already placed within the kingdom. But Delacan sits in Sargoth. Word of my escape could only have traveled as we have come. The fact that we have been attacked this far south suggests otherwise. I've never been witness to it, but I have heard of a talent called mind speech. Very few magicians have it, but the ability allows men to communicate over very long distances. Perhaps Delacan might have hired such help. It is entirely possible. Even before I escaped from his fortress, it was rumored that the magicians with whom he has been keeping company had such talents. I know that his assistant Nago claimed to have such powers, though I never saw evidence of such. And if Delacan has the capacity, then undoubtedly he shall use his assistance. So we will have to be cautious and watch out for any who seem like magicians as we head for Krondor. Both of you, keep your eyes open. Alright. Well, we know how to deal with those stupid pillar things now. Just run away. The pass was empty. It's a 5-day journey, if the sign is to be believed, Lockley remarked. It would also be an excellent place to stage an ambush. Think we should take the chance? Yep. Days passed. Disliking the exposed feeling created by the defile, they moved quickly during the nights and left the days to resting under rocky overhangs and listening for assassins' footsteps. At last, footsore and road-weary, they emerged near the coast of the Bitter Sea. So that put us down from here to here. Okay. Damn it, I keep clicking the wrong button. Sorry about that. Is there anything around here? Kind of a pointless path. A bird shot in the sky. Yeah, the ambush ahead. I know. I guess his scouting just went up, right? Scouting, yeah. Actually, I should have your defense tagged, shouldn't I? Here. You focus on armor craft. You focus on weapon craft. Defense. Crossbow. Ow! Really? Even defending? You're still getting your shit kicked in? Come on. Wow! What the fuck? Owen's gonna die. Son of a bitch. What's this? Dalatail milk. Hawked at fairs and trading meets by the Brotherhood of the Shield of Dala, Dalatail milk was really nothing more than simple spring water, albeit spring water blessed by a priest of the Defender Goddess. It was reputed to increase one's ability to defend oneself during combat. Sure. Huh. So how do we deal with this? Short of trucking it all the way back to a temple. How do you use this? Oh, here we go. Just double click. Gave him 1 hit point. But it did reduce the near-death status, okay. Yeah, we gotta find a temple. Otherwise I just load my game. Try that again. Oh, hold on. Campfire. Nothing in it. That went much better. Some kind of building back there. We're still in the middle of nowhere, though. Don't be a plague house, please. The man who greeted them at the door smelled of fish. Folks call me Chanty, he said after Locklear introduced himself. After a few more minutes of friendly conversation, he revealed he was a fisherman, but he hadn't been out on his boat for several days due to his health. As he spoke, he threw dark looks at an unseen thing over Owen's shoulder. Locklear was about to ask him another question when Chanty suddenly mumbled something angrily and slammed the door closed. No amount of coaxing could convince him to open it again. Odd. Something over Owen's shoulder? What? Locklear pushed open the wooden door. No one has lived here in some time, he said, looking around the empty room. Is this a gravestone? Warning, the fiend beneath this stone is trapped by dirt, not by death. Stay away. Turning to Locklear, Owen said, shall we dig up this grave? Not unless I save first. Sounds like there's some kind of monster in there. After a brief discussion with Owen, Locklear shook his head. I'm not too comfortable with the idea of accidentally digging up dead people. Besides, we need a shovel. We'd ruin our swords digging. No. We don't have a shovel. Fine. I just saved, didn't I? Never mind. Uh-oh. Archer, shit. Please stop missing. Damn it. Fuck. No, don't. It's the worst when you accidentally click. It's a cool art style. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Frick, he has 5 hit points left. This is going really badly. Oh, you can retreat. Okay. Gonna blow through all my food if I rest too much. Oh, what a much better situation. Ugh. No, 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 no. Alright, let's like... Fuck you. Try and focus and kill one at a time. Would you stop missing? Oh my god. Okay, one down. Please die. Oh. Ah. Thank you. Back ass style is the best technique. What's back ass style? There we go. Okay. God damn. Please tell me your melee accuracy is going up. Good. Yours still sucks. Come on, man. Come on, man. Have a crossbow. At least these guys had a decent amount of money on them. Sorry, I'm from Spain. I don't speak English well. Hey, that's cool, man. Just not quite sure what you were getting at with back ass. Something's lost in translation there. But it's all good. Okay, we gotta go this way. Hello, what's this then? Shop. Convenient. Really? Won't buy weapons, okay. going south. Quester's View. We got a town over here. Come in, chimed a courteous young woman in a brightly colored apron. She held the cottage door open. Kneeling in front of a stone fireplace, a young man was placing several small logs into a crackling fire. The man looked up with a smile. Yes, please, we just finished eating, but I had some luck fishing today, so there's plenty to go around. Lochler's nostrils flared as he welcomed the smell of barbecued sea bass and fresh bread still lingering in the air. It's a tempting offer, but I'm afraid we must be going, he said. A drink of fresh water will suffice. Of course, but will you take some food with you? Then I could have Laurelyn prepare a small package for each of you. Good for 2 days at least. She's quite a good cook, you know. Sure. As long as they're not poisoned. With a smile, the young man motioned to his wife. He moved next to her and helped prepare the rations, stopping only long enough to act out several key moments in a somewhat credible fishing story about a big one that got away. When they were through, they handed several packages to Lochler, who accepted them graciously. You've been too kind, he said. Everything seems fine. Okay, cool. Free food is free food. Lochler pushed the door open. As he passed through, he noted the lack of a door latch, a sign the inn was likely chartered. Yeah, we've heard that. Same thing. Who's this guy? Lochler cleared his throat. Glancing up from the business of cleaning his fingernails with a boot knife, the man regarded them frostily, motioning with the tip of his knife for them to quickly make their business known. That's a very nice knife. Keshian, isn't it? Lochler commented carefully. Where did you chance to purchase it? The man smiled, showing uneven brown teeth. Who said I bought it? Ah, Lochler said, taking hold of Owen's shirt sleeve. Well, I think my companion here promised me a drink before we came in, and I think it's nigh time I collected on it. Good day to you. Perhaps we could speak again. The table was cleaned for them. Sitting down on a splintered bench across from the man, Lochler shared a bit of the mercenary's bread as he listened to a story about a failed love affair with a married woman. As the story progressed from a sentimental recounting to a drunken blubber, it became evident the man had no intention of finishing the tale anytime soon. That's terrible, Lochler intoned around a mouthful of bread, his attention fixed instead on the wooden boards behind the mercenary's head. Awful. Tragic. Ah, there you are, Stuart said, laying a heavy hand on Gorath's shoulders. Are you lads still going to help me carry in these bags like we talked about? Initially I lost, but suddenly understanding they had been rescued, Lochler clapped his hands together. Yes, yes, of course. Our drinking companion will forgive the absence. Blearily the man looked up at them and nodded, waving for someone to come and fill his cup. Lochler motioned to the man across the room. Sometimes I come to this place to drink and gab, the man said, but sometimes I come to gab. Well then, perhaps you could tell us, Lochler began hopefully. Before he could finish, the man interrupted. Today, I just came to drink. Fine. For that, you get to listen to some of Owen's sweet music. Yes, I finished Ravenloft, Ajax. Fortune smiled. Despite the fact he was stumbling through the chords of This Kingdom Mine, Owen's lack of musical mastery was masked by the raucous noise of the tavern's drunken patrons thumping their mugs to the rhythm of the music. That was interesting, the tavern keeper said. I don't think I've heard that song tortured so much in one evening. You're lucky the patrons are drunk tonight. Against my better judgment, they're demanding I pay you. Here, withdrawing 15 sovereigns from my pouch, the tavern keeper passed them over to Owen. Yes! Owen's shitty musical skills are starting to make us some cash. Ding! I guess his barding went up. His barding didn't even go up. Weird. Whose barding went up then? Somebody's barding must have went up. Oh, his? 6%. Get some daylight going here. There we go. Yeah, I finished it probably about 2 hours ago, I'd say. There were stirrings inside the house. After a short time, a stout lad of about 13 came to the door, opening it wide. If you're looking for my brother, he's not here right now. Actually, no, Lochler replied. Are your parents about? The boy paused for a heartbeat. My folks were killed a year back. Mitch and I moved here several months ago to study swordplay with Tad Questor. We're going to find the bloody brigands who did it and feed them their own hearts. Locklear was about to offer some fatherly advice about leaving such work to those older and more qualified, but seeing the boy's expression, he decided against it. Instead, he asked, "Is Tad good with a sword?" "What, are you kidding? He's the greatest. Lives right over there." The boy motioned towards Tad's house, then excused himself, closing the door behind him. Might be able to get some combat training here. Interesting. Yeah, this game is a great soundtrack, man. It's really, really good. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I love the music in this game so much. Is this Questor's house? Locklear knocked loudly. Presently, a finely dressed man greeted them. As he spoke, he wiped sweat from his brow with a silk handkerchief. "Fine day, don't you think? I'm Tad Questor. Have you come for a lesson?" His eyebrows raised in a hopeful arch. "Lesson?" inquired Locklear. The man disappeared into his house and returned with a blunt-tipped fencing soil. "Have you come to learn the finer arts of swordsmanship?" he asked, punctuating his question with several impressive maneuvers. "I could give you all a quick lesson for only 75 sovereigns. How does that sound?" Yeah, we need the help. Maybe one day I'll be blessed with music. Ultima 3 has music. Both the DOS version and the NES version. So once you get Ultima 2 done, you will have music. All right, let's do it. "Wonderful! I am so pleased you have accepted my offer," he said excitedly. As Gorath followed Tad into the small house, he was a trifle concerned about the man's credentials. After all, this strutting little peacock looked as though he had never been in a fight in his life. The doubts were quickly dispelled as Tad took them through the finer points of sword use. Though he may not have had much experience in the field, it was evident to all he was a master of his art. He was even able to offer Owen a few pointers on how best to use his staff in hand-to-hand combat. The lesson lasted several hours. They were exhausted when they finished, but they all agreed the money had been well spent. Ding! How much did we get? Like 5%? Nice. Let's make a note here for my trainers list. Trainers. Combat trainer. Questers. View. Okay. Good stuff. Is there anything back here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so we are here. Still trying to get here. We're getting there. We're getting closer. Off to Sarth, I guess. Oh shit, we just got ambushed. This close to town, apparently. Hey! None of that archery shit. Ba, ba, ba. You just beelining for him, you bastard. Ow! Get away. Yeah! That combat training is paying off. Look at us not miss for once. Get him. Right back at you, bitch. Ow! Everybody wants Owen. Really? Owen? Come on, man. Leave Owen alone! Really? Even though he's defending, he's still getting... Fuck. Barely move. Damn it. Just defend yourself. Okay. Wouldn't be so annoying if I knew there was a temple nearby. Good shot. Apparently that's out of range of his crossbow even. Oh wow, but he can walk there and hit her. Okay. Makes sense. Please kill her. Shit. Yeah. Fuck. We're all the way back here. What was back here? Anything? Nothing? Oh, the shop. Sorry, I'll get us back on track here as quick as I can. Questress view should be just over here. Get our free food. Get our money for playing some guitar. Can we just keep... Oh, no, he won't let us play anymore. Okay. Can't spam it for cash. There we go. Get the combat training. And shop's closed, so rest. There we go. All caught up to where we were. Now to do this fight without getting our asses handed to us. The enemy was not surprised, and our ambush failed. It's a good thing Ultima 3 and 4 are the good ones on NES. 5 is kind of expensive. Yeah. Ultima 5 on NES is a mess. Don't even waste your time with it. buying the physical even though you're emulating them. Nothing wrong with that. Get off Owen's jock, you stupid... Ah, ow. There we go. I don't think so, buddy. Wow. Surrounded by two dudes, and he's still just like, nope, I want Owen. Doing. Kill. Ow. Him. Seriously, guys? Ow! This is getting kinda sad. Hit him. Thank you. How bad? Locklear's taking a lot of hits. He's probably in rough shape here. 16 health left? Oh. That's no good. Why miss a lot of attacks? Because it's early in the game and our accuracy sucks. Sucks real bad. There we go. Got him. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Stone for you. Some arrows, sure. Can you even use a crossbow? No, you can't. Whatever. It's better than yours there. A 0% crossbow? What a find. South to Krondor. That's where we're going. Oh, wow. It wouldn't even let me rename them. That's a pain in the ass. Oh well. A farmer was ahead of them, debating for a moment whether it would be more prudent to hide before they were seen, or to behave normally. Locklear decided that the man was probably of no immediate threat to them.
This is a bad time for travel.
Nice. I hope for your good health that you have found shelter against the coming tempest, good sirs. Tempest? Surely you have heard that the learned monks of Sarth have predicted a terrible storm is coming this way, and I would hate to think of anyone caught out in it. Why, a man could catch his death of the fevers. If you would like, you may ride it out in my barn. And what profit would you turn in this enterprise? 5 gold sovereigns, a reasonable sum, and the guard over my cows. You can sleep in the hayloft of my barn, but my wife and I don't take in elves. 7 gold pieces, the elf stays with us, and we each get a hard roll for breakfast. 10 gold, and the lot of you milk cows the next morning. That's the offer, take it or leave it. Sure. Where's this barn of yours? Keep heading south, you should pass the Abbey of Ishap at Sarth. You'll know you're right close to it when you've passed up the Temple of Sung. From there, it's just around the Yellowmeal Mountain. When you find the barn, just go knock on the door and my wife will fix you up. Thank you, farmer. Your hospitality will be remembered. Okay. What do we got off to the side here? Treasure chest. Puzzle box. Alright. Get your riddle hats out, folks. Time to solve a riddle. Buckets, barrels, baskets, cans. What must you fill with empty hands? Really? 6 letters. Oh, thanks for the bits, Ajak. It's very nice of you. Thanks a lot, man. Must you fill with empty hands? What must you fill? Gloves? Is G an option? It's possible. In fact, I think you might be right. Good call, Akira Crash. The chest thumped, satisfied the magical locks had released. We got the loots. What do we get? Oh! It's like enchanted. Blessing number 2, plus 10%. Fucking A. And a seashell. Some lockpicks. What do we got here? Magical scroll. Scratched out on the scroll in painstakingly lucid detail was a magical spell which had been titled Skin of the Dragon. So can he learn this? Although he could have wished for better circumstances under which to study it, Owen broke the scroll's wax seal and began to read. After an hour's laboring with the difficult language, he was able to commit the incantation to memory. While the words on the parchment etched indelible patterns in his mind, the scroll grew brittle, then crumbled slowly between his fingers like sun-dried leaves. Did he get the spell? These are like non-combat. What's this do? Oh, you can sense trap chests with that spell. Okay. That's actually good to know. But I don't know if we successfully scrapped that spell or not. It kind of sounds like we failed. But I don't know if you can fail. And I won't know until we get into combat, apparently. Oh, ambush. They have a spellcaster. That's good. Ow! Nope, we got it. Okay. It's an armor spell. Huh. And I want to go after spellcaster, but I gotta keep these jerks off Owen. And Owen's blind. Awesome. What else would you fill with empty hands? It's true. Why did I just walk him over there like an idiot? That was really stupid. Is he running? Ow. Mittens. Also true. And it is the time of year for mittens. At least where I live. Really? Kill him. Oh my god. Miss, 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 miss. They're not missing all that much though. That's actually starting to hurt. I have 3 health left? Oh good god. Hold up. I just hit the wrong button. Ah! I want to cast a heal spell. Defend yourself. Okay. Shit. That just nullified all the healing I just did. Motherfucker. This is bad. Gorath, would you hit him? Oh my god. Oh my god. See, even Owen, the wizard, with his shitty stick, can hit him. Hit him! Well, you hit him for 4. Is your weapon trashed or something? Ah! No! No! Just end the fight so I can load my game, please. Whiff, 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 whiff. I hate that you can't load in the middle of a fight. This is absurd. When he does hit, he's hitting for nothing. What the hell happened to you, Gorath? Oh my god. That was pathetic. Alright. Okay, so one thing we've learned is that Locklear is... Yeah, Locklear needs some healing. So let's spend a couple days resting up here. We got lots of food-ish. Okay. Snoutgorath's hitting the way he's supposed to. I don't know what the hell was happening there. Hey, look. When you do damage, enemies actually die. What a concept, eh? Now he's hitting for 4. It must be a debuff that wizard's casting that's fucking his damage. He's casting something on him with all these weird sparkly bits. Thump. 5. There we go. That went so much better than last time. Like, infinity better. 97% sword. Nice, nice. Hello. What's this? Just a jewel worth money. Take it. And your money. Rations aren't spoiled. That's good. Sherm. Powder bag. Throw into face of victim. Artificer of plank. So it's some kind of weapon or blinding dust or something. Two-handed broadsword. Dang it. Inventory space, constant problem. Okay, wherever that road leads doesn't show up on the world map. Let's take a quick look here. The path turned. After a few minutes of traveling, the roadbed began a steady rise, spiraling around a base. Why can't I talk now? Let's try that again. After a few minutes of traveling, the roadbed began a steady rise, spiraling around the base of a sheer rock-faced hill. Sarth, Locklear said. We probably have enough time to drop in for a brief visit, and it might break up the monotony of the road. Want to take a look around? Yep, so that's Sarth. Okay. From a distance, the Abbey of Ishapeth Sarth had seemed a fortress, its sheer-walled courtyard dominated by an ancient single-story keep. But closer inspection revealed that a shop profited where once an ironmonger had forged swords, delicate flowers bloomed where soldiers had once mustered. 1,200 gold. Wow. Some kind of magic casting ring. Let me guess, he doesn't want to buy any of this stuff. Oh, he will buy the crossbow. That's good. How about that? Nice. Ching, 40 bucks for that gem. Cool, okay. That was a nice chunk of change we got. All right. So we got the shop, we got temple, and whatever, just enter. All right, so we can. Oh, the fast travel thing's not here yet. Okay. We should be able to fast travel here, but apparently we can't. Let's have a chat. The abbot came quickly, a man of advancing years. His hair and beard seemed like a snowdrift, starkly in contrast to his dark skin, which was wrinkled like carefully crafted mahogany. Shaking Locklear's hand, he greeted them as if he had known them all their lives. Welcome to Ishap's Abbey, travelers. I am Father John. How may we be of assistance to you? We thought while we were passing through that we would come and visit the famous Abbey of Ishap and Sarth, Locklear said. You've done impressive things here. The abbot's eyes crinkled as he gave them a prideful glance. We hope to do more. We've only begun our work here, thanks to Brother Anthony and Brother Mark. We've come a long way. Locklear bit his lip, hesitant to ask his question. Could we impose upon your hospitality a bit? We have a few questions. I would love to. Alas, I have services to attend at the moment, but if you have questions, Sarth is the place to come. We've books on many things, and if you seek out Brother Mark, he can help you with a good many other questions. Good day to you. Okay. Oh, it's a library. A supernatural silence reigned in the vaults under Sarth, a perfect stillness which was unbroken even when a priest would accidentally let fall a book while searching the shelves, or when someone would sneeze while opening a dusty volume. It was as if time itself had been frozen there, trapped between the wooden cases like pages within a book. Hey, meet Jesus. How you doing, man? Healer's journals littered the shelf, by far the most extensive collection within Sarth's impressive stack of books. Locklear felt a little intimidated. Unsure what titles or names would be of the most use to him, he picked a book at random and began to read. Unfortunately, much of the book he had selected was confusing or contradictory, and after struggling with it for nearly half an hour, he finally gave up, put it back on the shelf where he had found it. Next book, he thought. The books concerned magic. Snatching the closest volume at hand, Owen began scanning the pages, hoping to find a grammary of spells from which he could learn. Flipping pages, he was nearly oblivious of the priest who had marched down the aisle and snatched the volume from his hands, politely replacing it from where it had come. These books are restricted, the priest said sternly. Long ago we learned the wisdom of making sure an initiate has some training before embarking on reading our magical themis. I've had some training, Owen began, but was silenced by a hard look from the priest. You're more than welcome to visit our other collections, but this is restricted. The priest said, his tone indicative that he would tolerate no argument. I am sorry. Back from the pub. I'm doing good, man. We finished off Ravenloft earlier today, playing some Betrayal at Krondor now, so This is a fantastic game. Having a good time. Owen scowled. The books arrayed before him all concerned theories of finance, a subject which his father had long ago exhaustively bored him with. While he thought he would never again be interested in the subject, he found himself reaching for one of the volumes. A very new-looking book, Owen had selected something titled Strategies of Training, Volume 2. Just below the title, he noticed a special note which had been glued to the face of the tome. Rare. Flipping through the pages, tables and charts of numbers confronted him, most of which he supposed would take him weeks to understand, time he didn't have to waste. In the center of the book, however, he did manage to find something of use. At the suggestion of a colleague, I have decided to include here examples of the finest shops in the kingdom. Examples which illustrate my point rather elegantly that good attention to finances will allow the shopkeeper to offer the lowest prices without sacrificing significant profit and ensuring a reliable returning clientele. Dabe's fence trinkets and Cavil Keep, roots and herbs, and prankstone. I'm going to make some notes of these. Good shops. Sorry, just bear with. Shit. Whoa, DOSBox, simmer down. Really? It won't let me get the list again? Damn it, I was just about to type those up. Ah. Oh, here it is. Got it. Okay. I was going to say this looks like a new game. Yep. It is a good new game. It's a very, very good game. If you've never played it, it's definitely worth a look. Dabe's. Let's just list the towns here. Near Cavil Keep. Prankstone. L'Oreal, we've been there. I don't remember that shop being anything special. Darkmoor. Okay. The shelves were overburdened, massive books which all appeared to be older than anything Locklear could imagine. Most of the works in the section appeared to be concerned with theology or philosophy. Not as well versed in the history of the gods as he would like, he reached for a less intimidating-looking volume and began to read. One of literally hundreds of books on the subject of Ishap, the god above all, the book was difficult to understand and written in a barely legible hand. Setting it aside, he looked back to the other books on the shelves. Oh shit, that was... It's like you look at the shelf, it's cycling through multiple things. Give me the one with the blue text again. Unless it's like a specific... Here we go. A ponderously heavy volume that took a great deal of effort to support, the book was permeated with the darkness of mood which seemed to surround Lim's Cragma, the goddess of death. Surprisingly enough, the book suggested the bodies of the dead should be burned rather than buried, as the body was no longer of any importance after death. Of primary interest was a short passage near the end of the book. Once wounded, so that ye may nearly touch the face of the goddess of death, thou shalt be suspended in a deathless state until it is deemed either thou time hast come to enter the halls of the dead, or thou hast yet more to do among the world of living. In such condition, ye shall find great weakness and a slowness of healing, which may only be healed of a priest, or by rest most prolonged, which we've learned. So that's just telling you what happens when your characters get their shit kicked in combat. Fair enough. Gorath smiled, pleased to find something in the vaults which appealed to his interests. He thumbed through a book which apparently had something to do with combat techniques. Ooh. Gorath scoffed as he began to read, realizing the author had little or no idea about the actuality of fighting hand-to-hand. Disgusted with it, he shoved the work summarily back into the slot from which he had pulled it. Examining the shelf full of volumes, he muttered to himself, there must be another book here, more helpful than that one. Come on, give me a good combat book. Oh, shit. Here we go. Beginning as a basic soldier's text, it seemed there would be little of value to be found in the book, but moments before he closed it, he stumbled across a treasure house of information in the last chapter. This last chapter is reserved for the most well-prepared of soldiers who are also familiar with the enemies they are to face on the battlefield. With an adequate amount of information before a battle, it is entirely possible for an enemy to be defeated, even when the enemy has the advantage of surprise, provided you learn what their natural weaknesses are. By exploiting this feature, it is possible to take down enemies who might otherwise seem unkillable. Based on reports gathered from soldiers from different battle situations, it would seem that the following things tend to be true. Trolls in general seem to take more harm when they are attacked with any form of magic, but likewise they are quite resistant to physical harm. Okay. When fighting magicians of any stripe, it seems they generally are poor when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, though there are exceptions to this rule. The wyverns have never, to my knowledge, been exploited for use in battle. Farmers troubled by the red variety have spoken of good results when attacking with blades prepared with an Althafair's Icer. I highly suggest that in the future you attempt to take notice of similar weaknesses, resistances, so you may use your resources to their fullest advantage. Alright, enough of the Library of Tutorial. Nice. Anything good? Probably just my armor crafting when I was repairing stuff there. Yeah. Okay. So, we need to go this way. And we need to save so we don't have to do that again. We need rest. Yeah, I know, we need rest. A garden was nearby. Wrinkling his nose at the smell of fresh fertilizer, Owen pointed out a small cloud of dust that rose off the roadside. Within the cloud, a mushroom-shaped man was hard at work, his hoe rising and dipping over a row of budding pink potato eyes. Flashing his irrepressible smile, Locklear crept up behind the monk.
Yes,
Brother Mark. I half jumped from my robes. Hello there, strangers. I hope we aren't disturbing you. No, I was about to leave the garden anyway. Busy hands set the mind to work, you know. On your way to Sarth? Perhaps, brother? Brother Mark of Sarth, glad to meet you. We don't get many Ilrathi here. Books don't seem to interest the commoners as much as gold or wenching. But we have scholars enough. I'll go in blind from reading worm-eaten books, and a dozen boys scribbling away their youth in our vaults is an unusual place. I have a friend who visited here once. He told me that you worship the god of knowledge. They do say that, yes, and I suppose after a fashion it is true. If there's a question that can be answered at no other place, your best hope is to look in our vaults. Do you know anything about spellcasting? I know a little of it, though Brother Dominic knows more about it than I. As soon as he finishes his studies on Quigian civil codes, I'm certain he would be more than happy to sit down and talk to you about it. He should only be another 2 or 3 months at it, I would think. And the music is freaking out. I'm afraid we don't have 2 or 3 months to wait. Why don't we leave the brother alone, nephew? Tisk. Now don't discourage the boy from asking questions, or he'll become afraid to question anything. I think I might have some time to teach him a bit about focusing, if you can spare a few sovereigns, say 50. Sure. Teach. An enthusiastic student. Delightful. This will be a pleasure to teach. Owen blanched. He had been assigned a simple enough task: cast a telekinetic spell to move his satchel closer to him. Instead, his satchel had remained obstinately stationary while hurling Brother Mark backwards into his well-tended crops. Are you all right? Owen gasped. I didn't mean for that to happen. You're still depending on your eyes, Brother Mark sighed, brushing a stalk of corn out of his face as he struggled to his feet. Concentrate. If you ever find yourself in a situation when you can't see what you're affecting, all the spells in the world will be utterly useless to you. Instead of trying to see your target, try to feel it. Now let's try this again. I know you'll learn this. Eventually. We don't have any more time to waste, Gorath said. Why don't you pick up your things and we can get ready to move, Owen? Getting on his feet, Brother Mark went to console his downcast pupil, patting him reassuringly on the shoulder. Remember, feel the target. That's the key. Till then, I suggest you stock up on a good supply of Luton's concentrate to get you through your exercises. Road south. Are there any hazards on the road south from here to Krondor? We are in something of a hurry, and I would hate to run into any unexpected delays. I haven't heard any complaints from the travelers that have been through here in the past few weeks. I don't think the mercenaries that stopped by to speak to Brother Dominic said anything of it. Mercenaries? They're not Quigian press kings, are they? Not to my knowledge, no. These lot landed just south of Quester's View on a ship called the Foam Spinner. As much as they've been up and down the road, I assumed they were in on a shore leave. Were there many of them? Many of them, if you laid them head to foot, I imagine you could walk across the straits of darkness without getting your feet wet. It seems one of those Quigian galleys can carry a small village from one place to another. So when is this storm going to hit? We're a little concerned about finding a place to stay so we don't get soaked. Storm? It's the first I've heard of such a meteorological disturbance. Brother Girom did mention it to me before I left the abbey this morning. That farmer jibbed us. That's strange. We met a gentleman named Rowe who said a storm had been predicted by the brothers at the abbey. I wonder why he would tell you such a thing. Of course, he's been acting peculiarly since his wife died. His wife died? He said his wife was going to fix us up. Interesting. Anyway, terrible tragedy, and striking at such a time when he had to give up his farm. I really must feel for the poor old soul. He had to give up his... Weird. Spells. Now that I know a little more about spellcasting, perhaps there's a simple spell you could teach me. Owen? Just something simple so we can defend ourselves in case we run into anything hostile on the road. I don't know what you imagine is waiting out there for you, but I believe I have just the thing. I will have to run up to the vaults to search for it, but it is a little spell called Flamecast. Of course, it will be a matter of a fee, say $30. I know precisely where it is if you want me to run and get it. Hell yeah. You can be quick about it. It won't be a moment. I'll return as quickly as my little feet can move me. They waited. When at last it seemed the priest was never going to return, he appeared waddling down the hillside, a beribboned parchment missive stuffed beneath one of his arms. Collecting the money owed from Gorath, he cheerfully handed over the scroll. Hey, we have an attack spell now. Is it permitted for outsiders to browse the books in the vaults? I'd be interested in looking them over. It's fine with me, but it's Brother Anthony you may have to convince. He doesn't like strangers wandering around down there without supervision. We have a number of rare and valuable books, and it would be the worst kind of tragedy to lose them to a casual browser. I'll warn you, though, you may have difficulty finding what you want. Many of the books have never been catalogued, and unless you know very specifically what you're looking for, either by the scribe's name or the title of the work, you might not find anything that will be of value to you. Do you know of any good inns in the area? I think I might sleep a little better if I could bed down on something other than the cold ground tonight. There are a few. You might try Babon's Hostel in Quester's View, or the old Bywater Inn. If it weren't for my duties here, I would be half inclined to join you. Some acolyte somewhere has been trying his hand at dream sendings, and I've not had a good night's sleep in weeks. Dream sendings? It's a way to send messages over long distances. Only certain magicians have the talent for it. Whoever it is, they can't be too far away because his images are fairly strong. What do they seem to be trying to say? I'm not certain. The images are too disjointed, though now I think of it, I thought I had seen your elf friend's face before. Now I know why. His face was in the sendings. Dun dun dun. Seems we at least have a few things to think about. Thank you, Brother Mark. Always a pleasure to help. Yes, blah blah blah. Nice. So I assume your casting skill's gone up, right? Yeah, 76% now. And we should have a scroll of Flamecast. Alright. New spell. So this... Yeah, I know. I'm looking for the barn of this guy who chipped us. He said his barn was around here. Okay, fine. There. Happy? Another temple, hey? There we go. So now if we needed to, we could fast travel over here. But we don't need to. Alright, Locklear asks to see the High Priestess. She can't see you. Turning, they noticed another hawkish-looking priest half hidden in the shadows of the colonnade. His eyes red-rimmed. He rubbed vigorously at his face before rising to stand next to his fellow priest. Mariah and I just put her to bed about half an hour ago. She awoke screaming this morning. The two priests engaged a significant look, but the meaning of it was lost on Locklear. Is she ill? He interrupted. No, the taller priest said with assurance. It is only a symptom of things that have been going on here for a short while. It will pass. You sound very certain, Kellen, the other priest said, angrily. None of us have slept well in weeks. Our healer is so exhausted they may not even find so much as a finger pricked on a spindle. There's something evil at work here. Bemused, Locklear looked at Kellen. Why would someone be trying to keep you from sleeping? Who could do it? Both priests shrugged. The purpose is beyond us, but we know that whomever is responsible is a magician and very close by. The shorter priest replied, I have also sensed in his dream sendings that he has others with him, soldiers perhaps. I don't actually believe he means to communicate with us, but instead with someone far away. Either way, I don't believe any of us shall have an hour's rest until he is dead or if we have discovered what he wants. More of this dream sending stuff. Okay. We got enemies up ahead. Of course it can miss. Why wouldn't it miss? I didn't mean to walk over there. Damn it. Nice. Okay, that hurt. Just in time for the music to end. Good. It better be your melee accuracy. Okay, good. Still only 42% though. What are you up to? 66. Okay. Fatamore's formula. Infamous by reputation, the notorious strength potion, and on several occasions disrupted proceedings at Lancer's tournaments. Expressly forbidden because of its unbalancing effects in combat, it has still commanded high prices from soldiers looking to advance their positions with employing lords. Like steroids. Poisoned rations. Good rations. Let's not take the poisoned ones. More poisoned rations. Nice try. Was this the barn we're talking about? This must be it. The air rippled, as if the world about them were nothing more than a curtain to be yanked aside, 4 figures warped into existence before their very eyes. Excuse me. All Mordell, and all armed. One of the assassins dressed in finer wear than the 3 who flanked him bared his teeth as he spoke. Gorath, Lishwan, Choi, Nakad, Sedu, Dalakan, Bakaal, Eladel. Gorath? Locklear glanced questioningly at his companion. Watching as the Mordell withdrew his own weapon, his black gaze fixed on the others of his kind arrayed before them. Defend yourself, Gorath rasped coldly. No moss trooper this, but a sorcerer. Nago. Of those that are said to have served Delican before the coming of the 6, he is known as the most powerful magician of my kin. Only we 3, or he in his will, see the next morn. Uh-oh. Ow. Holy crap, that really hurt. Well, this fight is definitely a little out of our league right now. friendly fire at his own guy. Nice. I didn't know what I expected from the combat, but it wasn't this. Just kill me already. Let's go. Yeah. Little teeny tiny itsy bitsy bit out of our league. Holy crap. Run. Oh shit. Rough shape, holy cow. Ow. Really? She survived that? Please kill her. How is she not dead? She's running away. She should have like no health. There we go. Eep. Oh my god. The early part of this game when your combat skills suck is so rough. You just miss everything. I don't know who's in worse shape. Probably Gorath. Somebody hit her, or I could just misclick and walk behind her. That works too. Now she's running away. Kill her. I want the loot. Kill her. Fuck. Kill her. Oh my god. Thank you. Okay, let's have us a bit of a nap here, because we have the shit kicked out of us. Gonna run out of food though. Okay, that'll have to do. Nothing back here. Just a dead end, alright. And there's an ambush. Of course there is. Alright, easy enough. Hey, a shovel. More? Holy crap, there's enemies all over the road here. Oh nice, we got the ambush at least. Holy sweet fucking Christ. Well, this is gonna go real bad. Let's blind one of these. Okay, one down. Just keep blinding somebody every turn. Just shut somebody down. Nice, 2 down. Whoop. Ah, damn it. I hate it when I do that. Get away from Owen. Then there were 2. Yes. Whoops. Oh well. Whew. I didn't think we were going to win that, let alone come out of it with no casualties. Yeah, I should hope so. We just killed 5 friggin' enemies. Okay. Yay, non-poisoned food. Wait, hold on. 79% armor is pretty good. Let's take that. It's the worst armor we're carrying. 54. Really? Be nice if the inventory management was a little less monotonous in this game, but kind of to be expected from older games like this. Huh. All the bodies are clustered up. I'm pretty sure one of them in there I wasn't able to loot. Which stinks, but whatever. Okay. Got multiple paths here. The path turned. After a few minutes of traveling, the roadbed began to slope towards the sea, leading eventually through a pair of iron gates and into the majestic seat of the principality. Krondor, Locklear said with a sigh that seemed to indicate both relief and concern. If the assassins have been sent against us, it seems a safe bet that they'll be lying in wait for us between here and the palace. What's your guess, Chorus? Do we go in now or not? Not if we're gonna have to fight. We're in rough shape. Or not, or we could just get to the city. Actually, I think this might be a good place to call it for the day. I'm starving. I've been streaming for almost 6 hours now, so I think Krondor is the next big step of the main quest here, so it seems like a good point to call it. So thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you're not already following, feel free to follow the channel. You'll get notified when we stream again, which is every day. I should be streaming again tomorrow. It might be a little later. I've got some errands I need to do. Hopefully I can get them done quickly and it won't be an issue, but if it's a little later than normal, don't be surprised. But other than that, I'll see if anybody's doing anything cool, and we'll give them a host here. So just sit tight. There we go. How's about some Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines? Everybody likes that game. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks again for stopping by, guys. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Out. We'll do Trucktober. Even if it doesn't, we can just do it. Sinitar, thank you for the host. Okay, wait, don't give me the thing again. We'll just go walk over to the mailbox at home. Imagine if you lived down here.